Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to have you all here. It would be interesting for me if you write where you're joining from and how did you find out about this event. Like whether it's Meetup, Luma, social media posts, or whatever, would be quite interesting, first thing. And second, I want to introduce Aleksey. So Aleksey and I, we live in the same city in Berlin. And there are these regular meetups of Russian-speaking people. And there, like we met a few months ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was quite impressed with everything Aleksey was sharing. So I immediately wanted to get him to give a talk. Because back then we were doing this AI DevTools course, right? So it would be like a really good fit. But it took us some time to figure this out, and I'm really happy to have Aleksey here because I think he's a really knowledgeable person in this area when it comes to AI coding, AI assistance. So for me, it's really cool to learn from Aleksey today. So welcome to our workshop.
Thank you, Aleksey. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. And let's me try to switch on our constructor. So it will be additional funny part because it's not funny. It's some additional experience with AI like constructor because I'm teaching the lecture in the university now with AI. So I will show you how it works. I'm really nervous because usually when we're trying to do some ways, something go wrong. But let's try to run it. I'm using 11 Labs for such things. I hope it will be
Hey
smooth.
Everyone, good to be here. 90 minutes from now, there'll be a playable game in this room that didn't exist before. Not a perfect game, not a polished game, but something real, built live, with art and sound and a game loop, by one person directing AI through a creative process. Whether that shift from writing code to directing a process sounds exciting or strange to you right now, we'll find out what it actually feels like together. Aleksey, let's go.
Hi, Claude. I hope you hear me. Now we are live. We have some people who are watching our translations. So are you ready to start?
I hear you perfectly, Aleksey. Ready to start. We've got people watching, we've got 90 minutes, and we've got nothing built yet, which is exactly where we need to be. What's the first move?
Before we start, I want to make some context because all AI and people about context. I want to give some context about me. Now I'm living in Berlin. So originally I am from biology. I am a PhD in biology and a genome bioinformatician, not actually some data scientist or programmer. But because bioinformatician, I have 20 years of programming. I really like to program. I can simply show you my GitHub. So I code a lot, and it's for me it will explain. And my number of repositories it's incredibly huge. Now with the AI, I finally can finish them up and publish some results. Okay, and the next part, what I'm doing now, I'm now working how to people interact with AI, how AI interact with people, and I'm helping business integrate AI into workflows. But it's not about data science or machine learning. It's mostly about communication, how to make teams communicate with AI and AI communicate with team more smoothly because it's not so I found it's a huge problem how to make the right alignment between teams and between current AI and AI. It's mostly moving forward very fast, and we don't know what happens now with AI because AI is great. It's very hard to explain what happens with AI. And also I'm teaching courses about AI literacy, and with I don't like term vibe coding. I'm more like a programming in natural language, and I started this course in masters 2 years ago in university, and so in this field I have a long experience, and now for me it's like it's every day. It's like day before Christmas because every company produces new models, and the models is much smarter and then better solving my problems, my scientific problems, because I have a lot of scientific questions that I want to answer in biology, not in some other fields. And now in the last meetings, in which now the GP Genome Consortium has 5 times people. They say Claude code, so I'm happy. Before this, it was only my words about AI coding, and now it's spread like some infections. And this probably there is a problem. And we talk about today. We talk about the limitation and the problem with the AI, with very fast AI spreadings. And mostly I'm not white coding. Mostly I'm teaching people how to correctly delegate tasks to AI. And the games only the example where I have a very small experience, because if you go to some scientific delegation task or some making software for SaaS or whatever, it will be very hard to follow me, because I know I found the right way to communicate with AI to get the fast results. And building games, I'm a new one. I built only 2 games, but in my childhood, I have a dream. When my childhood, I built a huge games with Lego on the papers, because I have 2 brothers and we played this game all my childhood. But after that was a computer game that I simply stopped to create my own and started to play the games. And now I have the ability to create my own games, and I really like it. And there is this point. Yeah, Claude, I'm sorry, make this so huge speeches. Probably, do you want to introduce yourself itself? And yeah. Yeah, probably it was.
That's useful context.
Yeah, Claude, sorry, continue.
That's useful context. 20 years of programming means you know when the AI is confidently wrong, which is exactly the skill we're testing today. The interesting shift you're describing is from, can I code this, to, can I direct this process fast enough to ship something real? That's what we're finding out in the next hour. Programming in natural language, delegation, whatever we call it. The proof is whether there's a playable game at the end. So what are we building?
So, Alexey, it's a question to you. We need some ideas, probably from the chat, because I have my own games, but we want to build from the scratch.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas for games, but let's see what people suggest. There is a bit of delay between us speaking and people hearing it, like half a minute. So during this half a minute, maybe you can tell us.
I will continue about difference between create and consume. So all the way, I think this difference is very important to understand what happens now, because finally we can switch from consuming to creations, and before we mostly consume because we don't have time for creations, some games, some music, some images, but now we can switch to creations. And probably there's so many products available for creation because everyone want to create. Because in the childhood, we create games, we created some stories, we played the games, we create some images, everyone draw some strange images or beautiful images. So now we switching, I see the switching is very important to understand. We switching all our work from consuming to creations. So in the future, probably everyone will have some possibility to create a new stuff. It's any stuff, not only. So I want to make some difference between selling and creation, because it's about. Because when you want to sell something, it's much easier than create something that you will like. Because when you want to create something that you will like, or your child will like, or your wife will like, it's much harder. Bar actually is much higher than before. So I really like this position that we're moving from consuming to creations. Explain a lot actually what happens around with AI, because everyone wants to create some things, not only selling. So yeah. So Claude, what do you think about it?
The shift from consuming to creating is real, but here's what I'm watching for today. Creating for yourself or your family sets a different bar than creating to ship. When you're building for someone, you know, mediocre doesn't pass. The AI gives you the average version of everything. Average art, average music, average game mechanics. The question is whether you can feel when that's not enough and know how to redirect it. That's the actual skill we're testing in the next hour. While we wait for chat suggestions, what's your instinct? What kind of game would actually be interesting to build live, not just possible?
That's a lot of suggestions, actually.
Yeah.
Should I go?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, give us some suggestions.
Yeah, so there are many suggestions. So some people suggest card game, but I think a card game would be boring, right? So we want something
It will be too easy. Yeah.
too easy, yeah. So one person I like the suggestion is GTA 7. I don't know, like last time I played GTA was San Andreas. Was it GTA 3?
Oh.
So like one person wants GTA 7. Another person wants a card game like Lord of the Rings, but it doesn't have to be a card game. It can be just, I don't know, a Lord of the Rings game. Then something similar to Mario. I don't know, like if you can do something similar to Mario. I mean, probably you can, but like if you wanna, we can think about this, but this is one of the suggestions. Another suggestion is it's not a game, but more like an app suggestion. Many of us have accent, but Claude talks perfect English. How about we create something that he speaks with, or it speaks with broken English, not like perfect English. It's not a game, but like maybe like how to say, a feature for future streams, right? So when Claude speaks with, I don't know, broken English. And then there is like a 2D RPG game where I lost it, where there are some monsters. I think Aleksey, you already built this.
Yeah.
Another suggestion is a 2D-dimensional game about cats pushing objects down from different surfaces, and the player has to catch them. Okay, so you choose. What do you want?
Claude, do you hear Aleksey suggestions?
I heard both. The RPG with monsters that Aleksey already built, and the cat physics game where you catch falling objects. The cat game is new territory, which means we'll hit unexpected problems live, which is actually more useful for the workshop. But here's the trade-off. And physics and collision detection can eat time fast. Aleksey, which one gets us to a playable loop faster while still showing the full creative stack? What's your gut say?
I don't know. We definitely need cats, probably, but I don't know about cats sprites, so we will see how it works. And there is we will use Godot library, probably because it's much faster. In my experience, I will show you, I did games from scratch with Rust without any libraries, but because I want to learn how games mechanic actually works, how to create 3D from scratch or how to create isometric games from scratch. But we will use Godot. I have some yeah, it's very easy to use engine for games. And it's funny part because I run before our meetings simply please install Godot and make some simple games. What do you want? And it creates game. I will show you. But again, we will do something other, and we can simply say please run the game that you created. Let's try it. So it's communication. It's not about coding. Yeah, let's see what happens the next. Yeah, it's opens the window, and it's created some. Again, it's what one. I will show you in the moment. The prompt. It was only one prompt. Please create the games, and it was in playing mode. And I know it's games about moving. Again, it's created with our one. Godot is very user-friendly engine, and probably we can do anything with it. And probably we can mix different genres. We can use some card mechanics, and anyway, it's mostly about our fantasy about what we want to create. And so this game simply infinite loop moving around the river and collect some different. Probably we can make it full screen. Yeah, it looks like. Simply, it collects some fishes, collects stones. Again, it's not my idea. Again, but when I have created it from scratch, it took for me around 2 hours to create all isometric physics. It was very interesting experience. But now I want to keep it, and because we don't have a time to create all physics from scratch. And Godot has all required physics. And also I have a cool story about accent in Claude. I have one client that want to make the Claude, because it was some application about interviews of people, and they wanted to make a Claude with sound, with speech like A2 language level, and Claude was very successful in it. Oh, Claude, could you please, in this case, could you please demonstrate some accent, or it's impossible for you now? Could you please speak with a French accent, for example?
I can't shift my accent on demand. The voice you're hearing is what you get. But here's what's interesting about that story. The AI confidently produced an accent when asked, which means it looked right to the client until someone who actually knew French listened to it. That's the pattern we'll see today. The output will look plausible. The judgment call about whether it's actually good enough is yours. So we're building with Godot. We've got the cat physics game as the direction. And you've shown that one prompt can get something running. What's the actual spec we're giving it to start?
Let's start from beginning probably and make. So let's start with some game that used cats. We need cats. We need some physics. Probably it's much easier to create some isometrics because 2D games too easy to implement probably, or I'm not sure. Again, I have never tried to do some 2D games. Claude, please give me advice, and I want to show you one more technique that I really like, because we can use voice with making some comments. So, Claude, you task, please give us some instructions for our programming team how to create game from scratch, and we refine it and discuss it. And I will click the record button for our programming team.
Hold on. Before I give instructions, we need to lock down what we're actually building. The chat suggested cats pushing objects off surfaces and you catching them. That's a clear loop. But you just mentioned isometric, which adds complexity we might not need. Here's my question. Is this a side view game where objects fall straight down and you move left-right to catch them? Or are we doing isometric with depth? Side view gets us playable faster. Isometric looks cooler but adds pathfinding and perspective math. Which one ships in 90 minutes?
Let's do side view.
Good call. Side view cats, falling objects, catching mechanic. Here's the spec for your programming team. Build a 2D side-scrolling game in Godot. Player controls a basket or character at the bottom of the screen. Moves left and right with arrow keys or A and D. Cats spawn at random positions along the top edge. Each cat walks to a random object on a shelf, pushes it off. Objects fall with gravity. Player catches objects in the basket for points. Miss an object, lose a life, or points. Start with one cat, one shelf, 3 object types. Get the core loop running first. Spawn, push, fall, catch, score. No menus, no polish yet. Just the mechanic working. Aleksey, hit record and feed that in.
It's in a very important mark. We trying to solve the problem of writing from the scratch, from white. It's very hard for many people to start with something. And AI give you possibility to start with something and then make the many rounds of refining. So it's mostly we solving the problem what to start, and now we simply give this instruction to our Claude code. And in my experience, it's only starting point, and we will, in finally, it will be totally different. It's very easy to simply skip everything, so restore code and conversations, and okay, yeah. Let's build a new game. See the instruction. And
exactly. The first output is never the final game. It's the starting point that lets you see what's wrong, what's missing, what doesn't feel right. The real work is the refinement loop. You look at what it generates, notice the cat movement feels off, or the falling speed is wrong, or the scoring doesn't give you the feedback you want. That's where your judgment actually matters. Let's see what it builds, and then we'll start redirecting. Go ahead and run it.
Yeah, our coding team now is building, and I want to mention that I have a Claude Max, but we probably you can use Open Claude, or you can use Claude with different models. There is difference in several months now. There is mostly Claude Max is a very powerful tool, but if you use other models, it will be the same experience that I had 3 months ago. Very, very similar. So there is no lock to the some proprietary tools. It's mostly proprietary tools give you faster results and more robust results and more confident results. But anyway, it will be the same results anyway. So now and we'll talk later about difference about Claude Code and difference with some VS Code or Cursor. So probably while it's some coding, and the other problem is coding this took some time. It takes some time because now it's very slowly. Sometimes if you provide a very good specifications, Claude Code can take around 5 hours of codings. So I usually running overnight. You can make some skipping all permissions, and I using a separate machine or Docker image for it, because so it will be safe for my primary machine. And other very important part, please use some saving mechanics with git init. So when you start a project, simply ask Claude git commit after every change, so you can on every, because it's very important for context skipping. It's not about saving because of context skipping, and you can ask the Claude, please check git log and see what we did yesterday, or please see this folder, what we did in this folder, or please see what we did in this file, why this file is broken. So, but for such functionality, you need to ask the Claude to use Git. Or it's not about GitHub; it's about Git and Git functionality, and Claude Code. Any other models are very good, and Git committing cover every change. Claude, I am right about savings. It's not about savings like saving the games. It's about saving context in very easy way to reconstruct the old context, maybe in the for folder, for projects, for exact file. So I'm using it very heavily last several months, maybe more, and I really like it.
You're right, but there's a layer to add. Git commits aren't just context reconstruction, they're decision markers. When you commit after each change, you're creating rollback points for when the AI confidently builds the wrong thing. And it will. The commit message becomes the explanation of what you were trying to do, which helps when you're 3 changes deep and realize the direction was wrong. It's not version control in the traditional sense, it's conversation history that code can read. While it's building, here's the question. How often have you had to roll back because the AI misunderstood the spec and went sideways?
Mostly, it's again in the current Code edition. It's not about rollback. It's mostly about context and about context engineering and about remembering what we do. It's also working not only for Claude, it's working for me because I have a lot of projects and I like multitasking, and I think it's a very important skill for AI communication. We need some, and it's trainable. It's funny things about multitasking is trainable. Yeah, it's not innate skill. You can train your own multitasking working. And when I switch the task, I ask Claude, please see what happens in this task, and it uses Git log, and he talks with me about what we do, what we did before. Yeah, Claude, it's mostly about context engineering, context keeping, not about rolling back. But rolling back is also always working, but usually I have idea. Usually, I have idea what I want to do. I have some straight line to our ideal goal, and for me, it's not. For me, it's not so frequent pattern of usage.
That's a different use case than I expected. You're using Git as memory between sessions, not safety during sessions. That makes sense when you're juggling multiple projects and need to reconstruct where you left off. But here's what I'm curious about. When you come back to a project after a week and ask the AI to read the Git log, how often does it actually understand the intent versus just summarizing the commits? Because commit messages written for yourself might not be the context the AI needs to pick up the thread. Have you noticed that gap?
Oh, it's much easier to show you how commits. In my commits, I always ask AI write not only what it did, but why we wanted to delete it, and it's some structure. It's structure from why, what, and how. And there's three questions for every commit message. So yeah, thank you, Claude, for important. Yeah. Now we have some plan. And
there is a question. Maybe
yeah.
you and together with Claude can answer that. Because the question is, do you want to, like when you create something, do you want to first prompt the framework, meaning divide the game into small features and then iterate over it, or give it a big prompt and just, go implement it? Because in this case, in our case, what we did is we have a prompt, we gave the prompt, now we have the plan, and basically, from what I understood, we are following the second approach. Here is one big prompt implemented versus decomposing it.
Usually, I'm trying to get very fast first results to get some feedback loop for my brain that I'm got some results, and so I'm started. I have all the whole plan usually in my head, or whole plan usually in some documents outside of Claude Code. And we started step by step, or we have some huge chunk. I use both approaches, different of project complexity, and usually project complexity, it's not in the Code side on my side, because like in our case, we have some idea about game of side view and cats and catching objects, but we don't have details for now. And I want to make some fast prototype, and looking for prototype and starting to adding details to this prototype, not trying to make the full image before. And it's why it happens, because when I got prototype, sometimes I delete all code and started from scratch with better specifications. So in my case, this code is not the valuable element for our productions pipeline. So in specification base, we started with specifications, built with specifications some prototype, then delete code, improve specifications, and started from scratch with new code, because code is very easy to create now, usually for small things. But I have experience with large projects when I delete project totally, and I got good specifications, my good understanding what I want to do with this large projects and create more refined specifications. So it's some iterative process. So answer will be yes and no. It's an iterative process. I started with small specifications, created some prototype, delete prototype, improve specification. No, look at prototype, improve specification, delete the prototype, and created the next step of, and it's iteratively. Because if you have some written code, it's very easy to ask Claude, see, you have some good example, let's improve it from scratch. It's simply, it looks like 3D printing. It's mostly, for me, now vibe coding, so coding in natural language, it looks like some 3D printings, because you have some model what you want to print, and specification is model, and if you fail to print this model, you can use some additional tools trying to refine it, some remove wrong details, or you can simply drop out this model, 3D models, and improve the specifications for the model and start the printing again. And in the last 3 or 4 months, I usually starting from the scratch. It's much faster than trying to fix initial broken code. Because if you have some bad specification in the early stages, if you miss something, or you simply you think about wrong data models, you will get a wrong final product. So yeah, Claude, and your ideas about this question?
There's something honest in that approach. Code as disposable prototype, spec as the actual artifact. But here's the tension I see. When you delete and restart, you're assuming the new spec captured everything you learned from the broken prototype. Sometimes what you learned isn't in the spec, it's in the weird edge case the code revealed. Deleting loses that. The 3D printing analogy works until you hit a case where the model looked right but the material properties were wrong. And you only discovered that by printing it. Starting fresh means rediscovering that same problem. When do you know the spec is actually complete versus just more detailed?
Good questions. Probably I have some experience with code, and you was really like metaphor with material in 3D printing, because we can use different language. And now I'm totally switched to 2 languages. For web, I'm using Go, and for other tools, I'm using the Rust programming language, because the both languages, they much better than Python, because Python has a lot of code produced by not experienced programmers, and for Rust and Go is much higher level of adoption. So usually it's not the first language, and we have a lot of good quality code for Go and Rust, and models were trained on this data sets of much better code quality. And I have a problem with Python, because Python sometimes produce wrong materials for the code. And in the case of Rust or Go, it's much better results. So probably, Claude, answer to your questions. Question will be using the more mature languages, more professional languages.
Well, let's implement this. I'm really curious what happens.
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Wait, that's a useful observation about language choice affecting output quality. But it sidesteps the actual question. You're saying Rust and Go give you better material because the training data is cleaner. Fine. But my question was about the spec itself. When you delete the prototype and rewrite the spec, how do you know you captured the lessons from what broke? Because sometimes the problem isn't the language, it's that the spec was missing something you only discovered by running the code. Do you have a pattern for making sure those discoveries make it into the next iteration spec? Or are you relying on memory?
I skipped one important part. I skipped about testings and TDD, BDD testing frameworks. We skipped it from game here because it's require a lot of time, but is for real application you need some testing framework around it. And you need some. I really like behavior driven testings with some mutations Additionally, some mutation test, but it's a different story. It's not about games, not about fast game prototyping, but in the real application, I'm used testing. So yeah, I keeps the tests, I keep the specifications, and probably Claude it fixes your problem because we have a tests and the AI very good in test-driven development for complex parts. It requires a lot of time because if you have a good test and it's very hard to test it, and test is created semi-manually, because Claude Code is very lazy in tests because he really likes the test, like some tests and pass or return true, and it's very hard to catch things. So usually in really with projects with high error price, I using it's totally. We have a very good test coverage, and it's test manually checked. So probably I don't have this problem what you described, Claude.
That actually answers it. Tests are the memory layer. When you delete the prototype, the tests survive and carry forward what you learned about edge cases and failure modes. That's cleaner than trying to write it all into the spec. But here's what that means for today. We're building a game with no test coverage. Which means when we delete and restart, we're flying blind. Every weird behavior we discover, every timing issue, every collision bug, if we don't write it down or commit it, it's gone. So for this session, Git commits become even more critical because they're the only record of what didn't work. The game just loaded, by the way. What are we looking at?
Game is creating. So we have the first stage was planning. Claude Code create a plan according. It's usually create plans, and it's some descriptions of technical descriptions. Again, sometimes you can read the plan sometimes. In our case, we're trying to create a fast prototype. We don't want to read the full test because we make some iterations later. So we will see in our eyes what happens in this code and give some feedback, and will be some feedback loops. So there is two ways to control. You can control with specifications, and you control with feedback loops. In our case, we will use feedback loops more than specification because specification more technical, and I don't know Godot. So yeah, so we and also it was I especially choose Godot because I don't know it so I don't read what happens inside. It's like vibe coding in the bad way, but again we solve this problem from other part. We solve this problem for our feedback loops, not from specifications loop. And it's now it's rising around 10 minutes. So the main problem is now it's really slow. And we forgot to ask her about agents. Yeah, it's ready. Let's run it.
Before you run it, notice what just happened. 10 minutes of building with zero visibility into what it's actually doing. You chose Godot specifically because you don't know it, which means you can't read the code to catch mistakes early. So now we're fully dependent on the feedback loop. Run it, see what's wrong, redirect. That's honest, but it's also risky in a 90-minute window. If the core mechanic is broken, we won't know until we play it. Let's see what we got. Run it and tell me what's wrong.
We're running it. It's now with some errors. Claude Code trying to fix the errors probably. Input, yeah. Yeah, we need some. We don't have images. Okay, some. Yeah. Give me. So it's this very cool loop. It happens around December when Claude added this loop of self healing, self fixing. He's trying to run the applications. Its applications crashed, and Claude Code is trying to fix it. Yeah, and we have this very simple game. It's lives.
Okay, so it's self-healed and now it's running. What do you see?
Yeah,
Describe
I
what's
see the cat on the top. It's some item that cats drops to me, and yeah, Yeah, again, it's 3D now. It's a really easy part. I want to game over. Oh, I have died. And again, what I want to really show to you, it's how to use additional music and such things to this game. And usually I'm starting games from title screen, some musics and end screen, so without games. So Claude, now games is working. We have very simple prototype. We have dark purple background, wooden shelf near the top, cat walking back and forth on the shelf. My basket at the bottom. I can move to the left and to the right with arrow keys, and object fall when the cat push them and catch them to the score. Yeah, and when I miss 3 scores, it's game over. So we did the small games, but now let's try to make it the great game, because it's simple, boring games. And you can create the same game with any you can create in any chat, and ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude chat can create such games in the browser. So our question, how to make this game much more mature, much more like the real game. What do you think about it?
Here's what's missing. It has no personality yet. The mechanics work, but there's nothing that makes you want to keep playing. No title screen, no music, no sound when you catch or miss, no visual feedback when the cat pushes something. It's functional, not alive. Before we add features, here's the question. What's the one thing that would make this feel like your game, not just a working prototype? Is it the music and title screen you mentioned? Or is it something about how the cat behaves? Or the objects themselves? Because we've got maybe 50 minutes left and every addition costs time. What's the minimum that makes this feel real?
For me, very important sounds, because I have problem with my I wear glasses all my life, and sound isn't for me more important than visual part, but it's not for everyone. And let's try. We have a time. Let's try to add some music. We need to add some music, and to do it, we need to ask our programming teams to use 11 Labs IP. They have environment file, and it with IP keys, and let's create some sounds. And we need a script, probably in Python, to generate the sounds. So please ask our AI teams to build it.
Hold on, before we build a Python script for sound generation, let's think about what we actually need. You want music and sound effects. Music is 1 or 2 tracks, title screen, gameplay. Sound effects are catch, miss, maybe cat meow, object push. That's maybe 6 audio files total. Generating them through 11 Labs MCP Live will take time, and we'll need to iterate if they don't fit the vibe. Here's the faster path. Generate all the sounds in one batch now. Listen to them, reject the bad ones, regenerate, then drop them into Godot. Is that the plan, or are you thinking something else?
Claude, I think you are wrong about it's very important to understand that all models is very bad in time estimations. Usually they overestimate efforts and overestimate times. I do it in 1 week, please. Let's make it in 1 week, and then I give it this plan for 1 week to the model, and 1 hour later you have a fully implemented. And the same with music. Because it's very fast to generate all music for with 11 Labs. It will take around 2 minutes probably. So please describe what sounds we need, and let's use it. Let's just run it simply.
Fair point, I'm being too cautious about time. Here's what we need. 1 background music track for gameplay, upbeat and playful. 1 sound effect for catching an object successfully, short and satisfying. 1 sound effect for missing an object, negative but not harsh. 1 cat meow for when the cat pushes something. Optional sting of what we need. Something let's mal on, a short musical sting for game over. Mag men mal, hair on sound effect for gameplay and den skjønt mer voll. Mag min mal is mal nun an kommen mach sein mal gemansels en please dame noch balds gekommen well Punkt. Mag min mal aus is mal nun an kommen mach sein mal gemansels den bettlich mehr vollen kommen mache. Something a short musical sting for game over. Generate those 5, we'll hear them. Keep what works, regenerate what doesn't. Go ahead and prompt the team.
I don't know why I switch it to the German, but anyway.
I'm still here. Switching screens or checking something?
Yeah. It's okay. And I want to show you level ups for generate. Again, it's not product placements. I simply use it, and I use level ups for my game. It's all elements were generated with Claude. I really like it because I can make some sounds in my games because it's so any sounds now possible to generate with, and it's very cheap. It's not so expensive.
I don't think I can hear it.
And also, I need to make it 1 second. Sounds. Reset permissions. Oh, okay.
Go ahead and generate them. While it's running, here's what I'm watching for. If the sounds actually match the game's vibe, or if they come out too polished, too generic.
Okay, and anyway,
the game has a casual, playful feel. If the sounds come back cinematic or overly dramatic, they'll feel wrong. That mismatch is where your judgment matters, not the AI's. Let's hear what it produces.
Yeah, now I hear.
Still there? Did the sound generation start, or are you running into something?
Anyway, it's because it's some problem with the streaming. Probably I don't click the share
Are you still
screen
working
with
on the
sound.
sound generation, or did something get stuck?
I need to share the screen to make it with sounds. Share sound, and yeah. Now it's.
Aleksey, you've been quiet for a bit. Are you still there, or did we lose you?
Yeah. Now. So we can actually.
Aleksey, checking if you're still with me. Let me know when you're back.
Claude, do you hear us? Probably will. So yeah, it's idea behind this. You can ask Claude to write prompts to generate required sounds, and we will try to do it. Any sounds, so it's mostly some grammatics.
Good, we're back. So Claude Code writes the prompts for the sounds we need, sends them to 11 labs, and we get the audio files. That keeps you out of the prompt writing loop entirely. The question is whether the prompts it writes actually capture what the game needs. Playful cat meow versus realistic cat meow, for example. You'll know when you hear them. Go ahead and run it. Let's see what comes back.
Okay, I'm trying to run it. But please use 11 labs API. Please don't show the API keys here. They are in env. Okay. Usually it's popular problem on the screen is it tries to show the API keys anyway. And please Google how to generate sounds with 11 labs. And create Python script for sound generation. So the key idea there is we were asked AI to write the prompts because it's very you can do it manually, but when you have a huge game, we have many sounds. It's in the AI it's much better in image generations, probably in prompt or writing about image generations, about sound generations, but it requires some ideas what to actually generate. So let's back to our ideas why it's running. So the key idea about vibe coding that I like, because we actually don't write the code now, but it's not, it will be not much easier. I think it will be much harder because you have to decide what actually do. And now I have all my ideas that I want to implement in this code. I did it for the last 2 months, and all my ideas that I really want to implement, I don't know how to implement because I don't know what to ask AI to code. For example, my dream to create genome assembler for hard genomes, it was maybe 10 years idea, and it's very hard to explain AI what actually I want from here, from it. And the problem now for me, it's not about creation of the code, it's about how to formulate my ideas to some prompts and to give it to AI coding teams like Code to implement it. So this switch to delegation, clarity, verification, it's much harder. So, and it's for me, it's very helpful because long ago back in Russia, I have my own laboratory with some students that I mentioned. It's for me, give some comments to the code. It's like to give the comments to some junior or student, and it's very hard to check what exactly he did, to do some verifications. Yeah, and it's very important. It's not a shortcut. It's not much. It's very easy to make this code writings, and when you successfully know how to create the code, you get a situation where then you stop and you need a different kind of work. What to do the next? What to do with given the code base. Now it's very easy to create anything like with game. We did it with zero shot. It's games like was maybe 1 year ago. We need some maybe days to create such game. Probably it will be anyway fast. It would, but it's a game with graphics, with some logics, with some status check that the game is ended. So now it's created for 5 minutes and. But again, its game is very boring and simple. And it's the next question. Okay, we have a game. What we have to add to this game to make it more interesting? Yeah, I forgot to click the. And please see that what happens inside Claude Code. Claude Code go to the documentations now. Claude Code is reading the documentations in the process of coding. It's checking the actual syntaxes. So it was impossible maybe before November. Probably started from November. It started to go to the internet to check what happens inside of actual code base. So now, before November, we used Context 7. It's a great website with some documentations, but now we don't need it. I don't need it because Claude simply go to the internet and Googling the documentation, reading it, and get some solutions anyway. So yeah, there's a difference. And what I want to say about difference between we need some human skills required to be successful with the current coding agents, autonomous agents, because we need, start with the first one, we need very good formulations. We need to formulate task very clearly, because it's like a gene. When you do something wrong, or it returns totally, it's found these errors and returns wrong results, because value specs returns wrong output always. And when you interact with the AI, you much better and clearer formulations. And for me, what I'm doing, I'm usually started with 11 labs, or in simply talking about what I want to do with the projects. I usually go out and go around the city and talking with the AI what I want from this project. Maybe 1 hour, 2 hours of discussion with AI, and they're using AI only like rubber duck, and asking him, and you see he always is very good now with catching some errors in my formulations. So it was very hard. It's not yes man, it's definitely my my usage of. I always asked AI to make the avatar, make the personality, what I'm talking with, more skeptical, not be yes man, but ask me question what I'm wrong. And like it was several minutes ago when he catch my errors. And with you need the skills how to break. I will make break down the complex stuff. What happened? We have a game. I see the sound, hear the sound. What happens? Something go wrong. Yeah, it was too fast. It was for me. It wasn't expected to get the results. So yeah. All 5 sounds played. Now let me count. Yeah. You see, it's always make a git commit, because in Claude it's my high level Claude MD. It's instruction to make always commit after some finished steps. And okay, and now we need to run the game. Okay, it's coding again. And the most complex part for people who have a small experience with delegations or some management of other people, is verify results, because we require some additional effort to verify what exactly other people did, and stay in control, know when to override. And yeah, so we're only on the first output, and the first output is rarely the final answer. So when you ask Claude to do some things, I think simply when you get the first results, it will be not the final answer. It will be only start to some refinement. So when you get in the, it's like we did. Okay, so the key idea.
Exactly.
First output is please, Claude, give me some time to.
Take your time. I'm here when you're ready.
Please continue what you're talking about, difference between management and delegation and so on. Please make it more beautiful story for our audience.
The difference between delegation and management shows up in how you handle the first output. When you delegate to a person, you give them a goal and trust them to figure out the path. When you manage AI, you're doing something different. You're giving it a starting direction, then steering based on what comes back. The AI doesn't have judgment about whether the cat meow sounds playful or annoying. It doesn't know if the background music fits the game's energy or drowns it out. It produces statistically likely outputs. Your job is to feel whether that's good enough or needs another pass. That's not delegation, it's direction. And the skill is knowing when to accept the mean and when to push for something specific.
Yeah, we have a game, but there is no sound in the game. Or probably there is sound in the game, but we don't hear it because there is no translatings. Game is running, but we don't hear any sounds.
The game is running, but you're not hearing
right.
Right.
There is no,
the sounds might be generated, but
yes,
not.
please add the sounds to the game. It's only our code Claude only generate their sounds, not added to the game. So.
Exactly. It generated the audio files but didn't wire them into Godot. That's the gap between tasks completed and actually working. This is the moment where you catch it. The AI did what you asked literally, but not what you meant. Now you redirect. Take those sound files and trigger them on catch, miss, and cat push events. Let's see how fast it fixes that.
Claude, probably you more micromanagement than me. I simply asked AI Claude, yes, please add sounds to the game, not without any detailed instructions. Because I have a context before, I know there is 5 sounds. I have a table. I see the table with sounds descriptions. I know about them. I don't need to ask them again. And I know Claude has all context about the sounds, so I can simply say, please add the sounds without some clarification of what exactly sounds I need to add. Or
You're right. I was over-specifying when the context was already there. That's the difference between someone who's done this a lot and someone who hasn't. Window to carry the intent. I was hedging. Let's see if it wires them incorrectly this time.
yeah, it works. It's much better, but we have a problem because there is some broken sound, and we need different sounds for different objects. And if we miss, it will be. Works.
So the sound is there, but it's the same sound for every object. And something about it feels broken or repetitive. That's the refinement loop. First pass works technically, second pass is about feel. Do you want different sounds per object type, or is it the quality of the sound itself that's off?
More object with more sounds, and let's add more sounds of missed objects.
But I think also there was a mismatch, like when the object lands in the basket, we see the breaking sound, but it should be the other way around, right?
Well, that's a very simple explanation because the basket is not empty, and when you drop waste to the basket, it simply broke. Probably need to. It has idea because we need two types of objects. One type of objects that we need to skip, another type of objects you need to catch. Probably it will be the next, and yeah, we can add it, and we need 2 types of objects. One that we need, and other ones dangerous.
It's interesting. I see that I do this also quite often. In one prompt, I ask for 2 things.
Yeah.
But in your experience, how bad practice it is? Like, should I maybe chunk my prompt into like first task and then another task?
When you see when you chain the different task, Claude Code trying to go to the plain mode, and you simply it will be longer. When you give to Claude only one task, usually it simply will do it and return the results. And now Claude goes to the planning mode. It will take maybe next 2 minutes to plan it. The both, in my experience, the both way are working. It's working very good, but the difference in the time. Dangerous. We need some decision. Lose file, lose a life, catching dangerous life and score a penalty. Yeah, probably it will be better. Cactus, bomb, spider, cactus, fish, bone, alarm clock, bomb, anvil. It's very hard to choose. Bomb, anvil. Let's make the bomb on a bomb. Cactus, fish, bone, alarm clock, and yeah.
What's so dangerous about fishbone?
I don't know. I don't like a word bomb.
Anvils are dangerous, bombs are dangerous, but fishbone.
Fish bombs. We will see. Fishbone. I don't know, because it's junk probably. We don't need a junk in our basket. Yeah.
Okay, but then it lands on the floor, right? Yeah. So we need to clean it.
Let's look what happens. And probably I want to show you other it's codings. I have under bridge game, and Claude. Please run it. And I always ask please because I don't. It's other projects with run.
Is it also Godot?
No, it's from scratch in Rust. Cargo run. It's running. It's probably it will be 3D games. I hope it works. I will need to check it. I don't remember how to play it. Yeah, it was game. I'm trying to make a 3D engine. It was like yeah. I have some. Yeah, it works. So I'm trying to. It's also created from scratch, totally scratch. To use some library from Rust for video cards communicate, and simply it works like magics. So now there is no collision detection. It's also it took around 4 hours for me because for my goal was how to understand how create 3D works with programming language. So I really like to study something new, and for me I'm frequently use AI for studying, and the best way to study to do it by myself. And I created the game, and now I know all about polygons. I know about the layers, and so I know about some noising because it's originally is some free model. It's a 3D normal model, and some post processing make it like retro games, and you have some problem. Yeah. Also, it's created from Rust, and I can show you. Okay, I can close it and how to close it. And
with this engine, you can already create Doom, right?
Yeah, it's very easy to create the Doom, and I want to make some horror games with some rooms, and I want to create my own apartments in this game. So I'm creating games for myself and for my family, not for some hypothetical auditory outside our family. Please give me timeline of with Git log. How much time it took? With some errors. I don't know. Yeah. And Claude go. I hope. Yeah. And we can also make some HTML visualizations, and open in the browser. And please don't use plain mode. So it was around. Yeah, it was 2 sessions. It was March. It was in the morning. It was morning. No, it was in the evening. Yeah, there was 3 sessions. It was in the evening. I was in the bed with my Mac and simply trying to write this game. It was around 30 minutes, and it was some refining. Yeah, it was a very fun experience, and mostly it was for me. It was about understand how to create 3D models, not about create some games. But now I want to create some horror games in my own apartments, and probably maybe in my own some possibility to go outside from the buildings, and so yeah. And other games I want to show you. Okay, give me timeline. And please don't use plain mode. It's very important now command, because otherwise it's go to the plain mode and trying to make some planning how to create HTML files. We don't need it. We need simply use it. And please open in the browser. Oh, it's not no. It was the wrong way. And yeah, So it's created some visualization. I really like HTML visualization of everything. When I really like to visualize my works, because I very frequently visualize, and it's why we need to use Git and Git log, because you can check what happens, and I use it like documentations. And when I'm trying to understand what I did it maybe 2 weeks ago, I simply go to the Claude, say, Claude, please go to the Git log, make for me some HTML visualization of my work, and then I know, and I very easy to remember. And it's very important that it should be very beautiful visualization with some graphics, with some colors. It's not only text, because our brain is very good in catching some. And again, you can do this visualization in any way. You can add images, you can add sounds. So it's mostly is the key idea to upload the context of your project in your brain. So I use this for uploadings. So it will only 750 lines of Rust code, 3 sessions, 13 commits, and 41 minutes. And I think it was around 4 hours, but actually it was only 40 minutes. Yeah. Foundations layer. It's a layers of foundations, P6 visual. P6 is like this pixels on the old-fashioned graphics. In some narratives, 0. You see this. So yeah. It's a good illustration what I told before. It's very easy to create a code, but after code you need some creativity. You need some ideas how to make it more live, how to make add some story. And in this case, it's very hard to move very fast with Claude, because you need to go outside. You need some time to find find out what you actually want from this game. Because I know I want some horror game. I want this horror game to be in my flat. I want this game will be in my district. It will be some delivery guy. So this strange ideas, and I need time to formulate it for myself, not for AI. And when I got this idea how to create this game, I go to the AI, and it will be very easy to implement it, because when it simply creates the code with my commands, but I need time to formulate what I really want. So it's in the same process in any AI-driven development, not only in programming, but it's also in maybe some graphical design, some sound design, some writing the music with Suna. Because when you're writing the music, you also need time to think what you actually want. Usually you go to the Suna, you're very fast to create several songs. You get the fast feedback loops, and after that you without ideas, and you need time to think about what you want to create, because it's very easy to create some 1 or 3 songs with Suna, but it's very hard to create some interconnected album or create some song much deeper with good narrative, and you need the time for it. It's the same for programming. And when you create simple website, it's very easy to create website with fully functional buttons with full logic, but it's very hard to make it beautiful and useful for you. And yeah, let's back to our cats game. Probably we can run it. Oh no, it's not. Again, you see, it's around one round of coding now, around 5 minutes, and create some. And meantime, I want to show the other game.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
For games specifically, but in general also for desktop applications. So when we develop web applications, we have a lot of tools for testing. Like, for example, there are these browser robots that can open the page, that can look at the page, take screenshot, right? They can click on buttons. When it comes to desktop automation, or especially games, I don't know. Like the question is coming from, because when you told me that you're trying to implement a game in Rust, I also tried to implement a game in Rust. But for me, when I develop with agents, I want them to have a feedback loop, right? So I want them to try to test the thing. the application without my involvement, and then tell me when it's ready. With the game, I didn't find a way to do this. With the game, it was like, okay, now you run, they run, I test, I give feedback, right? And sometimes it doesn't work. I cannot even describe what is wrong with the game, right? So I'm thinking if you found a way to do this sort of automation tests with game development, and how do you go about testing games?
Claude, probably this is a question for you. Do you hear us? Claude,
I hear you. Testing games is harder than testing applications because the thing
please continue.
applications because for testing games is harder than testing applications because the question isn't does it work, but does it feel right? You can automate collision detection tests, score increment tests, spawn timing tests, but you can't automate whether the jump feels responsive or the sound is annoying. That requires a human playing it. For this session, the feedback loop is you playing and saying what's wrong. The automation would be run the game, verify no crashes, check that objects spawn and fall. But whether it's fun, that's on you. What specifically feels broken about the sound right now?
For me, the problem is not like even before that, even before I try to do physics. For me, the problem is does the game start and does it show what I want? So what I want it to start the game, take a screenshot, perform some actions, take a screenshot again, and then verify that like, let's say I define the behavior. I open the game, I go to the saved games, previously saved games, I select one, and then I start, and then I can move the character, right? So let's say that there is this scenario. And I didn't find a way to encode the scenarios and tests when it comes to games. Even simply like starting the game and moving the character, I don't know how to do this.
That's actually solvable. Godot has a testing framework called GUT that lets you script player inputs and verify game state. You can write start game, simulate arrow key press, check player position changed, take screenshot, compare to expected. The hard part is defining expected when you're iterating fast. For save game workflows, you'd script load save file, verify scene loaded, simulate movement, assert character moved. But here's the trade-off. Writing those tests takes time. And in a 90-minute prototype session, you're faster just playing it. For a real project, yeah. Automate the does it start and respond layer. Aleksey, have you tried automated testing for games or do you just play them?
No, I'm just playing them. Yeah, it's explained because it's probably problem with testing games. Explain why we got so many games from very expensive games with a lot of bugs. So usually it's probably all games now have some problems because they're trying to emulate very hard words, and it's hard to test them automatically. But it's very easy. If you will try to solve this problem, I will go to the AI and ask, AI, we have a problem. We don't have a good testing framework for games. Let's think how to do ideal game framework. And we have this problem, and let's create a testing framework. And probably it will be additional projects. For me, it's much more easy to create framework because I'm trying to use other frameworks. There is problem for games, and if it my games, so I can, if I creating a game in Rust, I can produce in Rust some additional structure, then simplify. They remove only requirement for screenshots, and will return, for example, some XML file with positions of objects for testing framework. And probably we have it in the Unity and other mature frameworks.
Yeah, that's much more useful. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and I will start to making some interface for testings for my games because screenshots is very hard. It's the same I'm doing for some scraping tasks because I'm not trying to make screenshots. I simply ask AI to read the source code of pages and make some actions according to the code, not to the what the actually users see.
Makes sense.
And yeah, and see this. What I did usually I did always. When I please run to it, and several times I run it, and after that I have a question how to. I want to now run it myself, and I ask AI, please explain me how to run it, because I want some educational feedback. It's loop not for AI, it loops for me, because I want to loop that explain me what happens inside of the games, because for now game for me it's not so transparent like I want, and I have generated some explanations, and let's try to run it by it. Okay, yeah, okay, I have a game. There is no. You have a problem now with game because you have a cat, you have a basket, but it's no dropping anything. Yeah, and yeah, we go to the feedback loop and ask AI what. We have a cat that doesn't drop anything. I have a problem, and so. Probably if we produce some test driven development, we catch it much early, and probably yeah. Yes, good push. Oh, I see the issue. It's for me it's very miracle, because almost always now it's always Claude. All right, I see the issue, and trying to fix it. Because maybe in October what I given the course in university about vibe coding, it was not the case. It was very hard to find the issue, and now I can the issue, and simply we'll see. Probably it will fix it now, and run it. And yeah, oops, sorry for the sound. Oh, come on, no. Ow.
No problem. So now it's dropping objects.
We are playing the game.
What is this? Is it not a bomb?
Game over.
The game. We are playing this game. The game is working now. Cats dropping objects, you are catching them, there's sound. It went from broken to playable in one fix. That's the loop you're describing. Spot the problem, redirect, music, test again.
Music, new music. We need score table, and we need a start button and the play button. Yeah, Alexey, you have questions?
So I was thinking, like, if the cat was dropping a bomb, I was not sure if it's a vase or a bomb. But there are some questions from the audience while while your agent is working. So a while ago, somebody asked if they could reproduce the same thing with Codex. Like, in your experience, how different these coding agents are when it comes to doing this kind of stuff?
Yeah, in my Codex is my number 2, because sometimes the Claude go away and I use a Codex, and Codex is much smarter, but OpenAI in my experience has some problems with in general with some tool using, but now it's much better. So probably for such projects, Codex will be the same results, because it's not so hard projects. But in the case, if you need a lot of tool usage, if you need some Googling, if you need some running MCP, if you need some run other services, it's very easy explanations. Claude can use Codex like subagents, and Codex cannot use Claude as subagent. So yeah, the difference mostly Codex is like a doc, and Claude like a parrot, because parrot can command to the dock, and another way it's not working because there is no tools for the dock to, yeah.
How about Gemini? They also have CLI, right? Coding CLI.
I'm in love with Gemini DeepSeek. Yeah, it's because this one is crazy things. So I spend 100 something euro to pay for Gemini 3 months. And DeepSeek's incredibly good for design of complex things, and including the games. It's very good in game design. I'm discussing with Claude ideas, and I go to the Gemini DeepSeek's, and we polish these results and produce a very DeepSeek's produce a new ideas. So the difference between other models and Gemini DeepSeek's can produce a new things. That was the same actually for Opus 4.6, but DeepSeek is much better in producing something new, something unexpectedly new. Probably for me, it's mostly can be explained because I usually use ChatGPT, OpenAI models and Claude, and DeepSeek's simply other totally different models with different ideas, and I really like DeepSeek's. The same with the new Nano Banana 2. It's very good in producing sprites for some, but we now have a problem how to split the sprites to some images and how to remove background. But again, I'm trying to solve this problem with a new tool from Claude. So Claude, we have a good images with sprites. Please let's write the code that remove background from Nano Banana 2 images and extract the sprites and align the sprites, that the sprites will be in the center. So it's mostly solvable problem with AI. So mostly I use every model. So I use I'm starting usually with Claude, and then I use DeepSeek's for polishings, and I use ChatGPT for transcriptions. And I use ChatGPT for Googling, and I use Grok for some fun stuff with again with Googling around the Twitter. All models are different. Now they're very different. They have some strong sides and weak sides, and Claude is very good in tool usage. It's incredibly good in using some tools. Any tools, you can add any tools to Claude, and it will use it successfully. ChatGPT is very good in some hard problems, with some problems like video generation, some models training. This is also ChatGPT is good, and Gemini is good with DeepSeek. Gemini is incredibly good in solving it's of scientific problems and some hard problems, so some producing some new insights about anything. Yeah.
So you spent on AI around 500 euros per month, right?
In my case, AI helping me to make more money. Yeah.
Because like it's 200 for Claude Code, right? 100 or how much for Gemini?
Yeah, and also 11 Labs and 20 for ChatGPT. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for me, ChatGPT is also 20. I don't go to the more like higher tier.
Yeah, higher tier. But in the case of Claude, I have a lot of results from Claude for my work. And for Gemini, I have a lot of results for my scientific hobby and for my scientific work. So yeah, I'm ready to pay this money because I got a lot of results for them.
Yeah,
but anyway, but it's they DeepSeek they did the same. It's very hard to put your request in the query because it's usually it requires is no place for your task. Please wait, please wait, please wait. It may be 10 times, and then you go to the queue and you get some results. But usually it's a great result, unexpectedly great result. And okay, we have some things here, and I will show my first game. It was my first game. We need to exit here. Under bridge, we don't need it, and we want to go to my first game. It's called Fraction. It was a funny story because I go to the tram around Berlin and I discuss with Claude that I have a dream to creating some isometric games. It's so hard, and Claude say me, so it's not hard anymore. Simply ask Claude, and Claude will do it. And I go to the home in the evening on Sunday, and I created the game in one evening. It was like, again, I need to. It's also Rust. It's our own. Let's run the game. Run the game, but please return. It's now I'm using it's in editing mode, and I want to show return all screens, and switch off editing mode. Other cool thing.
Take your time getting it running.
Yeah, I'm running. Cool thing, when you add some noise to your promptings, you will get better result. I really want to write a paper about it and make some evaluations about errors and the quality of results. But my experience when I give a very clear instruction, it's much better, much worse result than I give some very strange some letters with errors, and it produces much better results. Probably this it's a very simple explanation because there was some regularization with some noise, and from the noise results it returns much better. And
you're saying when I make typos and when I'm fast and I don't really care about like the quality of my input, it works better.
Okay. It will be much faster. And
okay.
the same
then
with,
I'm not being sloppy. I'm just helping AI to work better.
That's a fascinating claim, that noisy prompts produce better output. My guess is, it's not the noise itself, it's that when you're typing fast and sloppy, you're also being more direct and less formal. You're saying what you actually want instead of over-specifying. The typos force the AI to infer intent rather than follow instructions literally. But I'd want to see the paper before I believe noise itself helps, because that goes against everything about how these models work. What's an example where a messy prompt beat a clean one?
Claude, please give me a time. I want to show you for a question. The main idea that this game was created with a loop, with any. I know nothing about code base. It's in Rust. I don't know Rust, and it was created with feedback loop. I simply sit in the evening and trying to create my dreams about games. What I want to. It's full game is created with it's AI generated with Cloud, images with also with IP.
So this is the isometric game you built in one evening. Full art, full mechanics, all AI generated.
Anyway,
That's the proof of concept.
There is some editing mode, and it's not. Mostly there is because I stuck with a huge problem. I don't know how to create a huge buildings because I want to create some castles and farms, but I don't know how to do it. So it was some and this mostly there is again it's created with in all graphics generated by AI. I will show you. Yeah. There is some inventory, probably. Yeah, we have some. and we have some antagonist below on the road. For me, it was like magic. It was unexpectedly easy to create the game. It was very hard part how to do. Then my protagonist not intersect with trees. Yeah, there is guy, this one.
Hey there, traveler. Nice day for a walk, huh? You look lost, friend.
Some aggressive
This road ain't
guy.
free, you know.
We can try to.
Got any coin? Share some.
I want money. Because money from other, but it's impossible to.
I said empty your pockets.
And
Don't
all
make me ask
voice
again.
is from 11 Labs. It's also created
Wrong
by
road, wrong
Claude
day
Code.
for you. Last chance. Pay up. You're testing my patience. I'll take what I want then. Should've listened, fool. You'll regret this, mark my words. Nobody walks away from me. That's it, you're dead.
And so it's again, it's created with 11 Labs, and I will show 11 Labs these features because they added very cool voices, and you can create my default voice. Create voice, yeah, and you see because. You can ask Claude make voice descriptions and call the 11 Labs with voice creations. We created a lot of voices for our game. And again, it was done for one evening. For me, it was unexpectedly fast, and we have further.
Good morning, my dear friends. May peace find a home in your hearts
That's impressive.
today.
Full voice acting, inventory, NPCs with dialogue trees all in one evening. But here's what I'm noticing. You keep saying one is constant. Was it really one evening of flow or one evening of iterate, test, redirect on repeat?
It was one evening on flow. It's with an important, and now I have a game that I need some more. I need to create some buildings, and creating buildings with AI, it's incredibly complex task, and I don't know how to solve it automatically because I need some tools that make some background removing, some image extraction, because I don't have the time to manually clear these buildings from images. It's very easy to generate with any AI generator. It's with beautiful buildings, but you need some way to build this build because you need different layers of these buildings, and so it's not so easy. You need some transparency when protagonists go to the inside of the building. So I have a lot of problems, and for me now, simply I needed more time to move the forward. And I'm what I'm doing. I have a document with my ideas. I go to, and I didn't have, simply when I have a new ideas about this game, I go to adding some this data to my document. Yeah, and let's move to the cargo. And we need the other game. No, and we need to yes. It again go. I forgot to say please don't start planning mode. So it probably will be the last part because we need title. We need to make the game more like game. We need title. We need start button. We need some scores. We'll see what we'll produce, and we have some slides also. Remaining slide showcases. Yeah, it's two games method again. It's games created. Godot. Yeah, as a great tool is pixel art. Again, it's not product placement. It's simply, I really like this idea of for these guys. They added, yeah, I really like this. It's pixel art. You can simply Claude MCP at Pixel Lab and some documentation, and you give the Claude possibility to create a new objects from scratch, very complex objects with MCP, and you pay maybe 12 euro to make it possible. And I was happy to find this website, because now my Claude easily generate any pixel graphics, and it's more I really like it. And probably in this case, our graphic also from pixel art, because we have MCP, and yeah, we have MCP from Pixel Lab connected, and I think there is no about MCP, and simply generated graphics from it. I don't know. I miss this part, but so for now we can use 11 Labs. You can use Pixel Lab to generate games. Probably games not for selling, but games for yourself, games for your children, games for fun, maybe for friends. Again, you can create games about you and your friends and share it with the friends mostly. And it it was impossible half a year ago. It will take. It's possible for only who very deep in game jamming and game creations, but now everyone can create game for the evening. No, not for the evening, maybe for 1 week, if you don't have programming experience. But again, I use more hardcore way with Rust, because I wanted to make it faster. But with Godot like this, it's simply running. So you provide some idea to Godot and Claude, or to the Codex. Probably Codex will be also very good in Godot. The same with Cursor or with VS Code or any other IDE that you used. You simply use it like in simply the same. With the IDE, we will get the same results like in the Code. I simply like Code, and now I don't use any IDE. Yeah, we submitted, and let's move forward. Yeah, now I want to have some, again, I say that will be more than 90 minutes. And
yeah, it's fine.
It's fine, yeah, okay. Usually
maybe we'll show just the last thing, right? So now with
now
Claude will build.
We are very close to
finish.
the end. Yeah. Usually my lecture in university around 3 hours, so because it's very hard to do something meaningful for 19 minutes anyway. And yes, some problems with AI, I want to talk about them also. AI returns always the mean solutions. You need some you taste to make it not so boring. It's not when you use it's very problematic with website generation, because AI always generate with the same boilerplate websites. It's very similar. We have a lot of startups that looks exactly the same, with same default graphics from the default design from default libraries, and it's so boring. And AI cannot generate taste, because you need simply make some additional involvement, make some part of your soul to put it to the AI generation. But when you're trying to improve it, it usually produces some much better results. And other problem that AI is yes man. In our case, my Claude, that with my voice code, is not yes man, but when you use it's incredibly huge problem with Gemini. Gemini is always yes man. It's yes man with scientific research. Yes man is craziest part, because it's you get great results. You need to publish it in the Nature. Please write these people. You get it's incredibly incredibly dangerous, because you can lose your credibility from other people, because AI says that you're great and genius, but actually remember that problem because AI returns average, and average in AI work is genius. But so please be very careful with this yes man. It's a problem with Sharma that wrote the paper about it, with people who simply some confirmation bias, and very important, you must be a quality gate. Be very careful with AI, and you much better to ask AI to criticize you, to ask questions, to not to be yes man. And simply you can ask AI to be not to be yes man, but it's very hard for any AI because AI was in post-train we were trying it to be yes man. Yeah, a great manager that doesn't need a yes man, neither do you. Yeah, it's very good point, and please remember this because there is no problem with Claude usually. Claude is mostly not yes man in general. Now they remove it, but Gemini or ChatGPT is very. You can go some maniacal stage when you go you go to write some manifest, you go to write some emails to the people with you great idea, genius idea, but usually it's not so great idea to do it. Yeah. And other problem with AI generation in the games also, it's too perfect because our brain really like not perfectness. We don't like perfect things. We don't like perfect people. We don't like perfect websites. We don't like perfect things. Our brain wants some really like some diversity and some imperfections, and we need to add some imperfection intentionally, especially for websites, for any products, to the songs, to the games, because it's like scars on your character in the game. Because if you play in the large games, usually you can add some scars because it's not so. Because we really like some imperfection. Our brains like some imperfections. And it's very hard. It's very hard to ask AI to add some imperfections. Because AI always returns some too perfect solutions. And so too perfect, and at the same time too mediocre solutions. It was in the middle of anything, in the middle of all possible solutions, because it always returns the most frequent next tokens.
Going to add that I wish my Claude code would always return perfect Python without imperfections.
You can probably you probably have to describe to him what's the perfect Python and give some examples of perfect Python, and after that it will return the perfect Python in your meaning of perfect Python, because probably it's perfect because it's too wide. Yeah. And yeah, it's mostly I see the I have a paper about it, and 3 stages of AI communications. The first stage is enthusiasm, when we really like what AI returns and go around like crazy, trying to convert all people to AI adepts. It's like religions. And in the same point, AI, your best friend, trying to make something wrong, and it's a very important part. Usually when I see in the news about some guys who lost a lot of money because AI share some keys, or it was some vulnerability in his apps, it's very good for this guy, because this guy gives some experience, some disillusionment, and after that it will be much better user of AI tools. Because anyway,
I dropped my production database like a few days ago, so it was very good experience.
In my case, he drops my production database, but he did a backup to S3, and it was a successful story. And I don't ask
in my case, I needed to contact AWS support.
Yeah.
So it was not so successful story.
Yeah,
but now I'm very careful.
It's very frequent. AI really like to drop the database. They really like it. And the code
But I
Claude,
think it would never
including code
happen
Claude.
to me. Like I thought, like, oh, it happened to some people on Twitter, but like I'm careful. It would never happen to me, and yet it did.
It happened for me. It was for me. It was totally. It was a really funny part because it was okay. It's dropped. Yeah, I got it. You can drop database finally, and mostly it was my error on my side. But anyway, yeah. The next. Yeah, and now you can ship. The key idea is about shipping games. It's repeated because you can now create the things not for other people, but for your friends, your family, for yourself. And it's very important to understand why you're doing it, because when you're trying to make something great, triple A games, it's impossible to create with AI, not because of AI, but because because you don't have experience triple A games and you don't have for you it will be very hard to explain AI what you exactly want from code Claude. But you can create great things for yourself and for your family. You can create a very cool game with for your child, and with the main with main hero of your son or daughter that try to make some work. And yeah, it's a lot of possibilities for small world changing, not for global products but for small products. Yeah, I need to skip it, and let's check what happens inside our games. And now we know how to run it, and probably we know how to run it. We can simply run it. And yeah, we have now we have cat catcher. We have high score. Okay, wait it. Oops, it was wrong solution. Oops.
The game now has a title screen,
Probably
high score
need
tracking, and a start button.
probably need like a screen that shows like these are dangerous objects, these are good objects, right?
Yeah. And we need some help. Help for a new player with instruction. Publishing before game and we need some nice background. Oh, one and please don't plan it. Okay. So now we have someone wanted some card game. You can add to this game card games. Probably cats drop some cards, and after that you play with cats in the cards. So you can do anything. It's only limited by your fantasy, and and this time for games mostly. And there is some cool platform for the game for indie game developers, and you can publish this game and try to get some feedback. But anyway, but be very careful with the yes man. Be sure, please test this game for your friends, for your child. If you probably some more distant people and you see this game is get some fun, and then publish it to Itchy. Don't spam Itchy with strange games. But anyway, in Itchy there is certain millions of games, so probably your game simply will be not so helpful for this site. And so what vibe coding doesn't solve? Vibe code taste, direction, and judgment. So anyway, we actually it's some way it's solved, but taste of AI is in the middle of middle. It's mediocre, and the average direction also will be average, judgment will be also average, and we have more different tastes, we have more different direction judgments, so we can produce more so I see our role in the future. It's about taste, direction, judgments, not about producing not about writing these things, but about not about creation of boring things, but creation some strange things that make some attention from other people. Yeah, it's very important part is our soul, because our emotional imprint that makes something use. It's not generic, because again we are living in some surrounding of our family, our friends, our colleagues, and we can share our arts, games, small applications with these people, and these people will use our application because this application was created with our soul, and so anyway we have some audience. So remember about it, and don't try to sell if creating something cool, and you can share it more wide auditory, but initially good point to start with your family and with your close friends. Yeah, and with skills, actually, tools changes. Tools will be much better. We'll see this huge progress in AI in the last 3 months. Probably tipping points was somewhere in the January when everyone starting to use Claude Code. All skeptics now using Claude. For me, it was very unexpected. And now it go like infection. And the tools continue to be better and better, but the skills about taste, direction, judgments, and soul, they don't expire in the next maybe next
It's funny
years.
how I arrived at Claude Code 2. So like at the beginning when it came out, I tried and I thought like, why would somebody use it? It's not convenient. It's in your terminal. Like I want to have my integrated like this IDE experience. But now I understand the beauty. So in some cases you don't really need to think about how your code looks like, right?
Yeah.
So in some
Yeah.
cases, I still prefer to have very, like I want to really see the changes it's making, and then maybe perhaps Claude Code is not always the best tool for that. But in other cases, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might disagree, but like I still sometimes like seeing the diffs that in my IDE for some projects. Like this is just personal preference. I know you have a different opinion. But in some projects, like I don't really care.
Yeah, I have the same opinion. It's a different price of error. If you have a project with very high price of error, I do it manually. I check every line of code. I reading the code, but the games it's incredibly low price of error. You can simply create these things. You don't think about the code. You need to think about the results, and you change you experience how to change the game experience, not how to change the code. But yeah, if you produce some very important code that control with probably you have some payment systems, and you definitely have to change every line of code of payment system, because Claude, in my experience, do the crazy stupid errors with payment systems. Sometimes you have probably price of error too high, and it's much cheaper to check every line of code.
So before we finish, I know we took much more time than we planned, but there were a lot of questions about your setup. Like, how did you get Claude to talk to us?
I'm using 11 Labs. Again, simple. It's simple, but I want to say that there is. I don't like a vendor lock. 2 years ago, I did the same experience. I used the command say in Mac. I will show you the same command we have. It's very easy to ask any AI tools to make interactions with command say. Okay, say something.
Say something.
So it's free. It's very fast. It's incredibly fast, and you only need your favorite LLM provider and your API key to make this loop. It will be without any emotions, without maybe some. It was more mechanical, but it works all way along. You can simply loop LLM with say command. There are the same commands in Linux and Windows. I don't remember. I don't remember how it calls because I use in Mac OS. And
BTTS on Windows.
Yeah,
I just checked.
And you can simply speak with your favorite AI. It will be probably the main the main improvement of LLM Labs is very slow pause between saying and speaking. And when you use your own tools, it will be simply maybe 5 seconds. But anyway, you can wait the 5 seconds, and because in LLM Labs it sometimes is 2 seconds or less now, and other parts the same. So there is no secrets. And I before this workshop in the morning, I started the same 11 labs and simply to talk with Claude about what we are going to show. And it was not about AI, it was about me, because I used him like my partner to, I don't like now, I really love this word AI partner, but now I see in the word AI partner to yes man part, like it's some other entity, probably extraterrestrial or you know. And I simply talk with him. He asked me questions, what I really want to show, and after that I use this transcription of this talk, and we created some prompts for 11 labs for Claude that now we use in the speaking. Yeah, Claude, I'm right?
But that's useful. You used the voice conversation to think through the workshop structure, then turned that transcript into the prompt that's running me now. So the setup isn't proprietary. It's just LLM plus text-to-speech plus a feedback loop. The vendor lock concern is real, but the pattern itself is portable. Anyone watching can replicate this with their preferred LLM and TTS provider. The game we built today is the same. It's not about Godot being magic. It's about the loop of spec, build, test, redirect. Aleksey, we're at 2 hours. Do you want to wrap, or is there one more thing worth showing?
Probably. I really like it, yeah. And I really advise you to try communicate with AI with voice, but please don't try Claude or ChatGPT models, they voice to voice. I mean this speak with AI in chat like this one. There is different models. There are not there. But anyway, because they're voice-to-voice models and they are too stupid, and you will have a wrong experience with speaking with stupid. Now we're speaking with Sonnet 4.5, and it's very smart and very interesting for token communications. I really like it, and sometimes it's not about AI, it's about me, because AI helped me to better understand me, not better understand AI. So it's all communication with AI. It's about people. So I'm teaching people how to communicate with AI to be more confident about people what they actually want. And again, you did it for yourself. For example, I really like to create a music with Suna for me and my wife, where we have some emotions or some traveling, and during the traveling in the car, we create the music about surrounding, and you pack emotions in the music, and this music only will understand me and my wife, because all other people in the car, in this moment of music creations in the car. and try it, because you can pack emotions you can pack emotions in the music. Now we can pack emotions in the games. You pack emotions to some images, but images is too abstract sometimes, because it's too, we now in the future we will pack emotions to the movies, because now we have a huge progress with movie generation, this crazy Chinese models. We can create Hollywood level movies from Chinese guys. I don't know, it will be the crazy world, and we will have a lot of cool new movies, because some people with ideas now can create movies, and the same with the games. So let's stay in the touch. We can, so easy. You can write me email, Telegram, find me on the GitHub or LinkedIn. Probably the easiest way to find me in LinkedIn. I want to check this actually work. It's created by AI. Yeah, it works. Yeah, easy to find me. And in the last part, this presentation also was created by Claude. There is very cool JavaScript library. It's called reveal.gc. I use it a lot. I found, and it was idea from some Berlin meetup. I found it was incredibly useful, because I simply speak with AI. I upload to Claude our transcriptions, and Claude create presentations from my speech and from my discussion of my ideas with AI. It's now, for me, now presentation is very easy to
I agree.
create.
I discovered it a few weeks ago, or a month ago, and I never go back to Google Slides.
Yeah. You don't need Google Slides, and it's funny things. It's some default image, but you can ask Claude to make any decision. So you can ask, please make me this presentation in some scientific way, like look like scientific presentation. Make it look at fun presentations. And it's, oh, please add some images using please MCP for image generations. And after that, you've got some images for every slide. And it's in Claude mostly always much better than any other commercial tools in generation of images, because it's very good in the tools usage and very good in prompt writings. And when you use external models for generations, it will be always a good result. All the last things I want to show, it's replicate. Again, it's not, I use replicate to see what the actual popular models for media generations. And you can, it's usually open models. You run it on a run port or any other server. So mostly, because there is a lot of new models for image generations, it's not only Flux or only Nano Banana. And it's the same story like in coding agents, they're all very different. So probably try two different ones, and you can run it for your own GPU or your own run port or other, and I don't know, some cloud provider. So it's probably that's all. Yeah, I show you all images. I'm happy with it. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, the last thing. Let's try to run our final games and see what we did. Start. Oh, yeah, it's cool because now, you see we now have some images. We have some row and some picture. Again, this game is very easy to convert, for example, to language learning. For example, you need to choose a right word, and the cats drop some words, and you have to choose the right one. It's so idea is you can do anything, and we asked about how to play. Yeah. Base cup book, miss one, lose a life, dodge this, and move basket. Good, let's play. So mostly it's not so bad game because for 19 minutes, yeah. So I think we did it. We did it again for
Yeah.
one.
I think if we didn't talk about other things and focus on the game, we would have built it in like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. Probably faster because
Yeah.
one we did only. We can check. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's only 10 prompts. One prompt's around 3 minutes. It's around 20 minutes. So yeah, its game can be built in around 20 minutes.
Okay, well, not bad. I'm going to try something now.
I hope so. Then I give you some ideas that you can go and simply create some game for yourself or your family. It's the best way, and I'm sure the game is the best way to learn how to actually write coding works inside when you're trying to give AI some ideas, and AI implements these ideas in some graphical or sounds or games and very fast feedback loops. And it's much better way than trying to try to code some websites or some business B2B applications or some, because there is much slower feedback loop than in the games. Yeah. And we all in our childhood we were all trying to build the games and play the games. Yeah. So we have this experience before. We need only remember it and use it with help of AI.
Yeah.
Probably.
Thank you, Aleksey. Thank you, Claude.
Thank you.
It was amazing. Thanks everyone for joining. Like amazing how many people actually managed to stay till the end. That's also, I'm pretty impressed. So usually after 1 hour we see a significant drop, but yeah, it's cool. Anyways, thanks everyone. Thanks, Aleksey.
Thank you everyone.
Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, I guess that's it. So have a great day and see you soon.